Great morning. How are you doing? This is your girl Shan. Happy Wednesday to each and every one of you all. I cannot believe we're already through the week. Well, hey, we're actually about to be in April. Anyway, time is going by fast, and I hope and pray that each and every one of you are, enjoying life, because we rip and run so much to sometimes we don't do that. I'm gonna go ahead and get into today's topic, and basically what I'm going to be talking about is being in marriage. After you've been married for so long, if we can be honest, we tend to get kind of comfortable. That's where I'm sure you've heard people say, that's just how I am. You know what I'm saying? Not willing to change for the better. Like I always say, I don't understand. Good morning, Dalisha. So, everybody coming in, I'll be trying to give them their time. Good morning, Angela. How you doing? I don't understand why people are not willing to sacrifice as hard and change and do the necessary, learnings and everything, growth, maturity in your marriage like we do for everything else. Now, I'm going to be that one that's going to call it out. Good morning, Kevin. We do it for everything else. Y'all know I'm going to talk about the job, right? I'm going to talk about education, and I'm going to talk about church. If we be honest with ourselves, if we be real, if we be really transparent with ourselves, we will push ourselves to excel in everything else before we do it in our marriage. Now, when it comes to our marriage, and I don't understand, I've heard people say, well, you don't understand, Shan, I'm married to this individual, so they should know. What does that say? When I'm willing to go so hard for everything else in my life, but I'm not willing to go as hard for my marriage. When I'm willing to give up more on my marriage than I am anything else. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the job. On that job, if you need that extra education to get that promotion, that 20 cents promotion, and for some it may be a lot, so I'm not going to minimize it, then you're going to do what you have to do. I don't care if they stand up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to learn, to get an understanding. You know what I'm saying? You're willing to do that. If you have to travel, if you've been selected to be away from your family and travel and do all these trainings and teachings, you will do that so it will look good on your evaluation. So you can get that next promotion, or you can get that raise at the end of the year. When it comes to church, we will sacrifice. We will stay up those extra hours. We will go to seminary. We would stay down at the church. We'll do all these things just to be able to have the extra recognition. I know for me, I'm going to be honest with you. What I used to say was, and I'm not knocking the church because y'all know me. You got some people get on here, they spiritually spooky deep and really sensitive. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make a point. I'm trying to allow us to think outside the box. And, for some people it's challenging. Everybody don't want it, so it's okay. Anyway, in saying that, we will go hard for everything else. I want to be Dr. King. I want to get my doctorate. Baby, I will stay up. I will operate for 2.5 years off of 4 hours of sleep just to be able to walk across that stage so I can get my doctorate. But let me ask you, at what level do you push yourself to do the things for your marriage so that it can grow, so it can prosper, so it can be more mature? I mean, only you can answer that. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the flip side, this is something I don't necessarily like, but it's like I said, it's just to make you think. Think about it like this. For some reason, in most marriages, there is always that one spouse that always give in. They always say, I'm sorry first. They always want to try to end the argument, even though nothing was resolved. Good morning, Cousin Kim. They want to make things better as soon as possible. Maybe they grew up in a home of dysfunction where their parents was always arguing and they never thought that they would relive that thing in their marriage. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about in that type of situation, because you have one that kind of get over and get their way all the time, and they minimize their spouse. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when we will sit up here and we're willing to do everything else than work on our marriage. Now, that ugly thing called pride gets on my nerves. You see what I'm saying? I cannot stand when how in your marriage do you go from being on the altar, you vowing before God to do all these wonderful things for your spouse? How do you go from that, good morning, Natasha, to that's just how I am? You get comfortable. You get complacent. How are we willing to push ourselves for everything else that doesn't matter? Because, baby, let me go ahead and tell you, and some of y'all already know. Think about your parents and your grandparents. At the end of the day, when the retirement papers has been put in, you know what I'm saying? Neither you are no longer working. You done raised your children to be productive citizens in the world, in the community. You know, you done sat down from your position at church because you tired. You've been running for a long time. At the end of the day, who is there for you? It's generally your spouse. So why is it that we do not appreciate how amazing and awesome our spouse is until we get into our old years and everything else has settled down? Now, I'm not telling you to go quit your job. Now, I'm not telling you to drop out of school. I'm not telling you to leave your church. What I'm basically saying is, when are we going to really start applying the word of God to our marriage? Me and my husband was talking about that on our previous show. Husbands, you want the title, but you don't want the responsibility. Why are we just basically checking the blocks when it comes to our marriage? Well, the Bible says, husband, I'm supposed to be a provider and a protector. Check. I provide, I protect. But you check out emotionally from your wife and you check out emotionally from your family. But you doing the basics, right? But you don't do the other part in the Bible. Wives, I don't want to get too much on y'all, because guess what? Our show next week is going to be strictly for y'all, baby. You're going to think we're coming for the wives, but we're not. Trust and believe we're using scriptures for the husbands. We're going to use it for the wives. I'm just saying, why are we basically checking the blocks when it comes to our marriage? And then come the anniversary. Oh, yeah, we're happy. We've been married another year, this, that, and other. But what did you do in the midst of that year leading up to the year of anniversary? I don't understand. Why do we find ourselves getting so comfortable and complacent when it comes to our spouse? It makes me so mad for people to think in their minds, my husband and my wife, no matter how I treat them, in a sense, let me be real, they're going to always be there for me. I could treat them like dirt. I could talk them down. I could talk about them like a dog. You know what I'm saying? I speak them up in the community. I let everybody know this is my boo, but you don't do it in your house. See, that's what the scriptures be talking about. You know, it's funny how we quit to tell people to sweep around your own front porch before you try to sweep around mine. But you actually is not doing no sweeping in your own house. You know what I'm saying? It's all kind of dirt and drama and issues up in there. You are cut off and disconnected from your spouse, but you can go out just like I was talking about yesterday. Either you are going to be passionate about what you do or you're going to perform. So what good does it for you to be so comfortable and complacent in your marriage to where you're not willing to change, that pride kick in? This is just how I am. But baby, you good at performing down at that church house, making it seem like your marriage is immaculate. You hear me? Making it seem like you the model couple of the year. You good at performing on your job when you bragging to everybody else about how good your spouse is. And, oh yeah, if it wasn't for my husband, if it wasn't for my wife, but you can't even say those same words to your precious husband and your wife when you at home, because you're comfortable and you complacent. Oh, they know how I feel. They know what I think. If this is you, because it's not going to be too many comments on today like it was yesterday, and I thank y'all for y'all comments because y'all had me cracking up. It lets me know that we still have real parents in the world today. I digress. Let me get back over here. If this is you, I need you to quit being so comfortable in your marriage and so complacent. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we get older. I'm not going to lie. I'll be straight up real with you. I'm sitting here, and I ain't too old, but you know, I got an old soul. So I'm probably talking like a mind of a 65-year-old, even though I'm nowhere near that. But we get comfortable. And it's like, look, realistically, me and my husband have built over this last 20 years together. We done raised kids. Kids is grown. I'm tired. You see what I'm saying? I heard women say this. Wives say this a lot. I don't have time to be training nobody else how to be my husband. It's kind of funny when people say that to me. I don't have time, so I'm just going to stay where I'm at. It's good. It's this, that, and the other. But when you get to that place in your marriage of where you're comfortable, you realize I'm not going nowhere else. You're not going anywhere else. We're just going to keep it like this. Then why do we get so comfortable and complacent? Why do we not continue to spark that fire? Why do we not continue to flirt with our husbands and let them know they look sexy? Husbands, why you stop telling your wife that she looks beautiful to you and she's the most beautiful woman in the world? See, those was the things that you did and you said to get them. But when you 15, 20, see, I'm always talking about the beginning of marriage. I'm talking to the people who are, engaged, the people who desire to be married. But I'm talking today to the ones that you desire to be, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 years in the game. Those are the ones that when you go out to eat at a restaurant, like I said, me and my husband are very observant. I know I am. And you look around, they just sitting there at the table looking at each other like this. They ain't saying nothing. Not a word. They not smiling at each other. They not flirting. The wife ain't coming in walking like she about to walk down the runway because she knows she cute because her husband had told her, baby, you are beautiful to me. You are the most beautiful woman in the world. Thank you for being the mother of my children. Husbands, do you know how powerful those words can be? Ladies, I need you to come on, drop it. Drop them comments. Those words can be mighty powerful. It will make a woman feel like she's walking on fire. You hear me? And she will not get burned because her husband shares his heart. Same exact thing when it comes to the wives. Hey, Miss Delia, when it comes to the wives, hey, Alex, and things like that. Hey, Brittany, boy, y'all coming in, do. Same exact things when it comes to the wives speaking life over their husbands. Baby, he may not look like you desire for him to look. He may not be that perfect husband, but if you fooling yourself, baby girl, if you think that you're going to get perfection because you yourself is not perfect. But baby, when a wife knows how to speak up her husband, speak life into him. Like I said, we 20 years and 5 kids in the game. You think I'm not going to be letting my husband know how fine and sexy he is? You think there is not women who are not waiting in the cut? I see them, honey, because I'm that wife. Let me go to the job. I always try to make sure I look presentable when I go out. I'm representing God and my King. I see women just sitting over there. My husband may not notice what they doing, wives. But see, I don't tear up the place like I used to. But I'm like, oh, that's cute. She trying to flirt with my husband. My husband don't want her. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I know my husband don't want her because of the words that he's speaking to me. So wives, when you speak up your husband, it's time for us to quit being comfortable and complacent in our marriage. You know what I'm saying? Keep that fire going. And it takes both of us to do it. But when you allow that spirit of pride to come in, I promise to God, that's when your marriage spirals down for the negative. That's when you start to have resentment in your marriage because you don't do the things that you used to. Go back every now and then. I need you to check in, do a little, as we said in the Army, a AAR on yourself. Check in and ask yourself, husband and or wife, are you doing the things and are you saying the things? And I understand life get busy and I understand we have children and we have ministry and we have work and everything like that. But do you make it a priority to take time out to go back and say, do I talk to my husband like I used to when we was dating? Baby, when you think about the things that you used to when you was dating, especially when you keep God as the head and the foundation of your marriage, you think about those things and say, you know what? I'm slipping. It should not take your husband or your wife to tell you, baby, you slipping. Because, see, you used to chase after me. Wives, come on now, where you at? You used to chase after me. You used to tell me I was cute. You got to understand, if that man do that thing, you need to be doing the same thing to him. I had put a post before I get ready to go on our Marriage Mondays with the Kings page, and I appreciate all the likes and stuff that it got because it lets me know, not the likes for us, but it lets me know that people actually read that post and they understand it. This is all my videos is about, is getting a deeper level of understanding. That's why I would say it's never for surface thinking people. These are for people who want to go deeper no matter how long you've been married. You know what I'm saying? But it speaks about my husband thinks, if I could paraphrase it, my husband thinks when I rub it on his head at night, that I'm just massaging his head, but what I'm doing is I'm praying to God, for his mind. My husband think when I rub on his chest that I'm just enjoying his body, but what I'm actually doing, and y'all can read it after this, I would encourage you to, is I'm praying that God guides his heart. When I rub on his feet, that he will walk according to God. And then it encouraged the wives, it encouraged the ladies to pray over your husband. You see what I'm saying? It encouraged you to do something, not remain complacent. Just because your honey is buying you all the material possessions, you got the beautiful home, you're driving in a nice car, you got the beautiful shoes, he's doing all the things and he's providing. What gives us the right to stop being wives? What gives us the right to stop praying over our husbands? What gives us the right, because he's doing all the things, just to become complacent? And some at the beginning of this video may have said, oh, my husband is the one that's the complacent one. Oh, my wife is the one that's complacent. No, AAR, remember that. After action review, you need to examine yourself. Pause every now and then and ask yourself, am I doing the things? Am I being the wife that I promised my husband that I was going to try to be in the beginning? Am I being the husband and sticking to those words of agreement that I promised my wife, not just on the altar, but in conversations we had in the beginning and even before we got married? See, the words were beautiful and we said those things before we said our do, but are you actually living up to the words that you spoke? Because like, I don't know, you know how y'all grew up, but I always used to hear this term and I live by it, your word is your bond. So are you living up to your word, or are you just using your words to say, my husband know how I am. We've been married long enough. I don't need to do anything else. Baby, if that's the mindset that you have, I promise to God, you are not going to have the best, blessed, enjoyable marriage that God desires for you to have. In marriage, how we work is hard for everything else. We need to work just as hard for our marriage, because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, your spouse, good morning, Wendy, is going to be the one, good morning, Heather, that is going to be there for you in the end. That which you sow into your marriage is what you're going to reap. Don't sow just to reap. Both of you all need to be sowing. You need to be doing that 100, giving 100 and 100 in order to have that best blessed marriage. You know what I'm saying? But it's too many married people, and I'm just going to call it and say it like it is. You walking around right now and you're performing. You walking around right now and you waiting for your husband to do better. You're waiting for your wife to do better. What's wrong with you taking that first step and doing better? You may even say right now, Shan, I've been doing that and I'm tired. But let me tell you something I know about God. When you pray, don't just be doers. You know what I'm saying? Be doers of the word, but you also need to pray, and you also need to have that faith. You also need to have that faith that God is going to change this thing around, not the way that you see fit, but the way that God see fit, before you decide to just throw in the towel. So I hope and pray this encourages someone on today. We need to do the work. We need to get back to the words that we promised our husband or our wife in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? Encouraging marriages, because I'm telling you what I know from the bottom of my heart. The devil is winning. Oh, that thief is destroying marriages left and right, mainly because of pride. I'm waiting for my spouse. Hey, sis Lolo, I'm waiting for my spouse to do better so I can do better. That's an excuse. That's a cop-out. I'm just going to be honest. But this is one thing I've always promised my husband. God forbid I got to the point to where I was going to throw in the towel. One thing that I want to be able to say, if I ever walked away from this marriage, which I don't plan on it. You know, some days I have to pray. But I don't plan on it, because all marriages have their up and down. Is that Jeanette? Hey, Jeanette. All marriages have their ups and downs. You see what I'm saying? But there be some days where I'm like, Lord, do you still want me to be in this marriage? I'm just going to be honest, because tensions may rise. But ask yourself, if you're going to walk away from the marriage, did you do everything that you can do? I told my husband I want to be able to, if it ever came, and I, God forbid it ever do, be able to say, I've done everything that I could do to make this marriage work. I guarantee you a lot are not doing everything that you can do. Have you tried prayer? You say, Shan, I've tried this. I've tried that. Have you really sought God for your marriage? Have you fasted for your marriage? Have you joined hands? Because the word of God says in his word, where 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, he will be in the midst. Have you got you a couple of sisters or a couple of brothers, men? This is where your pride come in, because you ain't trying to let nobody know that it's issues in your marriage, because it's going to look bad on you. But baby, is it your pride that's more important than your marriage? Do you want to be right, or do you want to be married? What you trying to do? Get you a couple of people that you can trust, or somebody you can talk to on the phone and say, hey, can we join together in prayer? Can you be my prayer partner for my marriage, because I'm going through right now? You know, people who actually have a heart for marriage, not people who actually want you to fail. They've been waiting for you to fail. So you even have to pray in that to say, God, who would you like for me to connect to where we can pray through this situation of my marriage right now? We can pray, you know what I'm saying, and come together, because I want to join together with an awesome man, a woman of God, preferably the same sex. I'm not going to be praying with no man for my marriage. That's just me. I'm not going to do that. That's going to cause issues. But anyway, Y'all have a blessed day. I just wanted to be words of encouragement on today. Like I would say, don't let anybody steal your joy. Share this because it's free. Thank you so much for your comments. I greatly appreciate it. And I purpose in my heart to always go back if time permits. Tonight I won't, I'll be running to about 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. However, if time permits, just to let you know, I appreciate and thank you and respond back to your comment. Thank you for those who dialogue. Thank you for the husbands who come on and you say, wow, me and my wife just had that conversation and this is so me. I need to do better. I thank you because it is very rare that the husbands even say things like that. So, sir, I thank you. I thank you to the husband and the wives who saying, don't listen to Shan. Promise me you're not going to listen to her, but let's listen together. And not only listen to her together, but have that conversation and dialogue. Thank you for the husbands who have told me this is the promise, and the wives that you've had, so that you all can dialogue at a deeper level and check your marriage. So y'all have a blessed day. Share this because it's free. Be a blessing to somebody today and not a curse. Your girl Shannon, be back for you or whatever God places on my heart. God bless you and blessings to you.